Welcome back to the most tragic but downright hilarious boxing series on YouTube, when hype jobs face reality.
We've now got someone I really believe that will bring the world heavyweight title back to Great Britain.
In this series, we unearth some of the most hyped up boxers that major broadcasters and fans alike would prefer fade from memory.
And I'm telling you that this man is going to be better than Floyd Mayweather Jr.
A lot of the usual suspects have already been listed in the first two parts, so be sure to check them out if you haven't already.
Tasting good and everything is mixing right, you know? You can't go wrong.
If you enjoy the series, a thumbs up is always appreciated. And if you're new around here, feel free to join the BLTV crew by hitting that subscribe button. Anthony Hembrick was a talented fighter, no doubt. The once promising U.S. Olympian showed great ability in the pro ranks, building up a record of 14-0 and charmed the fans and boxing media alike with his charismatic personality.
And that's in boxing. Anybody stands my way, go ahead and take him out.
However, 20 years later, his career can be summed up with three simple words: an epic fail.
More controversy off the field. American boxer Anthony Hembrick was disqualified yesterday when he failed to show up on time for his opening round bout.
Yep, you heard that right. Hembrick was talented enough to qualify for the Seoul Olympics in 1988, but failed to turn up on time due to supposedly missing his bus to the arena.
Who didn't make the bus, and that has been a celebrated story, Sean.
As a pro, things got off to a relatively good start. Hembrick traveled the country beating up low-tier opposition in a rather cocky manner, and despite his punching power clearly being on the lower end of the spectrum, it didn't stop the popular boxing magazines of that time giving him a somewhat generous amount of printing space.
How would you grade Hembrick's performance in fight number 12?
Well, with pitching a shutout, I give him an A+. He won every round on my scorecard.
Hembrick's first minor title fight came in June of 1990 against another novice pro in Booker T. Word. No relation to the pro wrestler, before you ask.
Look, man, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Anthony performed his usual pre-fight dance before the bell, except this time he knew the viewing audience would be large, so he went all out with the moves.
Sugar Ray Leonard, he could be a very popular fighter over the horizon. He has come along quickly. Last time we saw him, he looked extremely loose, very confident, and he puts on a show.
Hembrick didn't take long to put a smile on the doubters' faces as he slipped as soon as the bell rang. A couple minutes later, his status as a meme was confirmed.
Very flamboyant Anthony Hembrick. He has that Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, and he has the smile wiped off his face. It may be over.
He's not going to beat the count.
Booker T. Word has come into the backyard of Anthony Hembrick and taken him out in one.
Things didn't get any better in the closing years of Hembrick's career. Orlin Norris, Henry Mask, and James Toney all whooped his ass, leaving him a somewhat disappointing record for such a promising young fighter.
What about stiffer competition?
Oh, that's gonna come.
Big Truck, also known as David Price, is yet another fighter to come out of the Olympics carrying a huge rucksack of hopes and dreams for British boxing fans.
Zum Körper, na schön, Metzger, doch.
That's it. That's unbelievable.
At just 19 years old, Price became the youngest ever ABA heavyweight champion and replicated further success over the next few years as an amateur, with wins over later prominent professionals Travis Kaufman, Gregory Corbin, Tom Dallas, and Tyson Fury.
I know Tyson Fury will fight me because he's a fighting man, otherwise he's going to look like a bit of a coward.
Fight after fight, knockout after knockout, Price couldn't put a foot wrong. He obliterated domestic rivals John McDermott, Sam Sexton, Matt Skelton, and Audley Harrison in brutal fashion. Well-respected voices in the community were already mentioning his name with the likes of Vitaly Klitschko and David Haye. ESPN even voted him the 2012 Prospect of the Year, a list that has included fighters such as Canelo, Lomachenko, and Errol Spence Jr. in the past, so yeah, it was quite a big deal. However, there was one man that failed to recognize his invincibility.
So what's the reaction to the Price fight then? To be honest, Harrison's the biggest bomb inside boxing. And the reaction to David Price and Frank Maloney calling me out that midget, yeah? I'll fight David Price any day of the week. You see you plumber from Liverpool, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
Okay. Sadly, we never got to see the bout between Price and Fury, but it wasn't due to either fighter ducking each other or boxing politics. Price just simply got exposed before the big fights could even happen.
Tony Thompson's a 6'6" southpaw. It's not exactly a walk in the park.
I'm coming for you, Price.
Price put his 15-0 record on the line in February of 2013. His opponent was the capable but fairly washed up Tony Thompson, a 12-1 underdog with very little hopes of an upset.
He's the puncher.
Oh, beautiful shot.
Oh dear, 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 dear. Well, it is all going horribly wrong, and I think it's all over. The referee stopped it, Price is out, and it's all gone wrong in the second round.
The 6'8" big truck quite clearly couldn't hold his own weight in the ring, and the stamina issues would let him down time and time again in the coming years, suffering some of boxing's most brutal KOs along the way.
Уверовал в свои силы и понимает, что...
Опа! Надо, все, это нокаут, нокаут.
Да, здесь уже не поднимется. Опустил руки абсолютно...
Michael Jackson wasn't just one of the best singer-songwriters of the century. He was an amazing boxer, wrestler, and gangster trap rapper. Okay, the last three were parodies, but boxer Michael Olajide certainly tried his hardest to bring the swag and entertainment of MJ to the ring.
For Michael the Silk Olajide, 1987 seemed destined to be the best of times.
Looks aside, Olajide was a promoter's dream. The British-born Canadian middleweight was tall, fast, and knew how to box.
And you know me, I love a fight. I love fighting, and contrary to the image.
Well, you performed very well tonight. Congratulations, Michael.
Thank you.
After building up an impressive 23-0 unbeaten record, Olajide signed a huge fight deal with NBC to have his next 5 fights shown exclusively on their platform. Unfortunately, the deal was cut short as he was beaten black and blue in his very next fight against the unbeaten Frank Tate in his first world title shot.
His point total. Oh, big right hand! 3 seconds between rounds for the recovery.
He has nothing left in his head. It's all over.
Down goes Olajide!
NBC and Madison Square Garden stayed with him, and back in New York, he won a couple of tune-up fights, but was not impressive.
Michael almost put things right a few years later when he challenged the formidable Iran Barkley in 1988, scoring a shock knockdown in the 4th round. Barkley recovered well and applied monstrous aggression in the 5th, dishing out Olajide's second pro defeat. Olajide went on to lose 3 of his next 5 fights before retiring due to an eye injury. His career may have ended in the ring, but he used his athleticism to become quite a prominent fitness trainer with various DVD footage still floating about on the internet to this day.
Hi, I'm Michael Olajide Jr., and welcome to the Killer Ab and Back Workout.
We thought we'd end the video by highlighting one of the biggest train wrecks ever seen in the ring.
Florida, Jimmy Smith!
Jimmy Smith will forever be remembered as having the worst pro debut in boxing history. The YouTube video titles pretty much sums up how things went. As for the background of Smith, it's still fairly unknown. ESPN kindly pointed out he had an amateur record of 3-0 before turning pro, which, if I'm being completely honest, has to be total BS. His opponent, Anthony Moscow, appeared to be quite a talented prospect before having his career cut short after his 3rd fight due to an injury. And what happens when a complete novice meets a fairly decent prospect? Well, this clip sums things up pretty nicely.
You guys listen to my commands, I'm in charge, you understand? Protect yourself at all times.
Make his pro debut here at the Sun Dome a month ago. It was a successful one. Not long on defense, but he has a lot of power, Chuck.
Well, from what Jimmy Smith looks like at the beginning of this fight, I think him and Ben Smith may be a pretty good matchup. What do you think? I mean, look at this guy.
This is bizarre stuff. Almost looks like a rock'em sock'em roll. And timber! He is cold-cocked by Tony Moscow.
I've fallen and I can't get up!
You can almost hear it. He needs an alarm. And Brian Gary issues it.
How Jimmy Smith made it on live TV with those skills is beyond me. BoxingScene.com released an article last year which included an interview with Anthony Moscow. He goes into quite a bit of detail about this match, which I must say was hilarious. You should go and check it out if you fancy a giggle.
Like some kind of weird bird coming in. There's the right hand.
And it was a whirly bird that landed.